Hey folks, welcome back to the Stitch Up. Thank you so much for joining us here. And of course we have my, at this point, very regular guest host, Hugo Farrant. Hugo, good to see you again, my friend.
Good to see you too, mate.
So good to be back.
Yes,
so good to be back.
It's fantastic.
And well, of course today we're going to be discussing the Snyder cut of Justice League, but I believe it's just, you have to call it Zack Snyder's Justice League. You can't call it the Snyder cut. I don't know why.
Who said that?
HBO Max.
Okay.
And I do what they fucking tell me.
I think they're pretty salty about having been bullied into releasing it.
You think that's the case?
Maybe, because that's the name that the Twitter mob gave it.
Is it
the Snyder cut?
Twitter, yeah, I guess so.
So maybe, you know, it kind of looks like if they call it the Snyder cut, they're more frankly admitting that they got bullied into it.
We'll get into it. It's an oddity. I mean, it is. Just think about it as a functional way to bring out a movie. To have a movie, for all intents and purposes, cancelled, and then to have the original director come back. And look, let's just put it on Front Street as well. There is absolutely nothing funny about why Zack Snyder had to walk away from Justice League in the at the beginning.
Yeah.
Kudos to him for coming back and fulfilling his vision. However insane it ended up being, and as this is more of the new Stitch Up, much like the Mad Max episode that we did, it is an appreciation episode. We are going to talk about some of the really cool shit that goes on in this film, but we're also going to make fun of it. So enjoy that.
Just not him.
Just not him in particular. Well, I mean, there's some stuff, we can make fun of him.
Sure, but more his art.
More his art, yeah. It'll be different than the Batman.
Or his approach, let's say.
Yeah, so that's right. We're not going to intro the film. You know what it is. Everybody knows what it is. What I did want to do is go through just a couple of little stats, some information for you about the Snyder Cut that you might not know, you probably don't, but just in case you don't know. So, according to Zack, this cut, this 4-hour version of his, contains none of the footage shot by Joss Whedon, which I found confounding. I don't understand how that works.
Is there anything that stands out that you think was definitely shot by Joss Whedon?
Not necessarily. I just feel like some of the stuff with the Flash, maybe not necessarily what he rewrote, but there's also some stuff that's cribbed from the other movies. It opens with stuff from BVS, and there's definitely some stuff from Man of Steel that they've pulled Henry Cavill's performance out and plonked it in here, particularly in the sort of nightmare kind of scenario at the end of the film.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was I was just a bit. I didn't see how that was possible, how they could do it.
I can believe that.
Yeah?
Yeah, I can believe that. I think that the Joss Whedon stuff, there's none of the back and forth between, for example, Batfleck and Fatfleck. You don't see that in this version.
Come on! The guy gave up drinking in between those two things, so that's probably explains a lot of it, I reckon.
He took up eating.
He took up eating. Yeah, that was the
But the thing, you have to. I do have sympathy to try to get in the physical shape for Batman.
Oh man!
And go through it. What was probably, for all intents and purposes, a pretty miserable experience.
Yeah.
And then after it, just go, I need a fucking holiday.
Yep.
And then be called back, like, oh, now you have to play the specimen of physical perfection again.
There's not enough time in the world to be able to get to that shape again. And it's kind of like, if they can CG away his mustache, why don't they CG away a few love handles? Which is what I'll be doing later on.
to Hugo.
To both of us, I think.
Right. Look at this hench.
This is a bit... This
continuity.
Hench.
Yeah, you are hench, dude.
I don't know what that means.
You're stacked. You're ripped. You're shredded.
Yeah, well,
That's continuity, because they're going to look at Mad Max.
That was 3 years ago.
You just said... Shh.
That wasn't 3 years ago.
You just said it was impossible to get into that shape physically. To the people watching this, it's going to look like you did it.
Yeah, well, that's why I said it, to make it seem that much more unbelievable. This is all prosthetics anyway, so it's like, I'm actually like a 14-year-old Chinese girl. It's all premeditated, baby. The mustache thing, and then the Affleck thing, and then you can absolutely tell the stuff that they've reshot like last year.
Yeah, I think that if anything stands out, it's just stuff. Like, he had no shortage of money and time to reshoot stuff he wanted to.
Well, I mean, according to the statistics, $70 million to complete visual effects, score, and additional editing was given to him by HBO Max.
Yeah.
And that's not including marketing.
Right.
And they marketed the shit out of this.
Well...
Online.
Did, yeah. Yeah, that's fairly cheap. I'm going to go out on a limb here. I don't think it was marketed in a super traditional way.
I think probably, building of trailers and, licensing music.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of Nick Cave and a lot of...
but I think this is very much an online phenomenon. You know more about this than I do, but doesn't it cost quite a lot just for the logistics of getting a movie into theatres?
Yeah.
So
distribution
just removing that
stuff. Yeah.
Well, that's making it online. You save a heap. Don't you? I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's where they're going. I mean, you don't have to to put it in theaters is tremendously expensive.
So the equation,
especially IMAX, which is what this was shot for.
Allegedly.
Well, that was one of the other points. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you're probably right. It would be.
So all I'm saying is that the equation used to be whatever the budget of the movie is, you multiply it by 2, and that gives you the total budget because it costs double whatever you spent on it to market it.
Yeah.
But I don't believe that would apply anymore to a project like this.
In this time, yeah.
I don't think so. I think it's so viral. A lot of marketing was done for it by the buzz, by the bullying campaign, and then all they said was, they let the channels who were showing it market it for them, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like HBO Max and who was it here in Australia? Binge. Right, so Binge did their job for them, I reckon. Yeah. I reckon they'd have saved
They pushed it pretty hard too. I got emails almost daily about it,
But that would have been on those channels, not Warner, I reckon.
Yeah, absolutely. So and I don't think Warner Brothers really had much of a dog in the fight, you know what I mean? Like it was...
No. Didn't give a shit.
They were just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. It's on HBO. Who gives a shit? And then they changed their whole business up, about releasing big movies on that platform as well as in cinemas, based on the times past.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, yeah, I would wager that the budget which you would normally have to market a film would be, substantially decreased.
Yes, I think so. I think there's a saving there. I think there's a big saving, and that would have fed into the equation of should we do this or not?
Yeah.
So everyone's stuck at home. They're not seeing billboards anyway. Everyone's watching streaming services. Everyone's on Facebook. We're going to wind up spending only tens of millions on marketing.
Yeah. Instead of hundreds of millions.
Instead of hundreds of millions. Screw it. Let's do it.
I think, and we don't want to get into it too much, but it couldn't have happened any other time. The confluence of events that needed to take place in order for Zack Snyder's Justice League to get this the way that it got. So some other interesting stats here.
Go.
Victor Stone, the cyborg, was originally described as the heart of the movie, but was mostly excised from Joss Whedon's cut. And most of his plot has been restored. The Release the Snyder Cut hashtag was incredibly popular at the time. Again, I said $70 million to complete. New material was filmed in October of 2020, which is pretty quick turnaround if you ask me.
Yeah. So height of we don't want to talk about it, but pandemic, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd say, especially in the States.
So where did they shoot it?
I don't know. I didn't look that part up, you fucker. The one bit of fucking information I don't have is the bit that he requests. Oh, fucking, what's the, Pythagoras' theorem, Regs? That has anything to do with...
You know that.
No. I know that pi is 3.14 something.
Very good.
Thanks. The original cut was actually planned to be a mini-series and a 4-hour movie, which I think in some cases might have worked better.
Okay, wait. The original Zack Snyder cut was planned to be a miniseries?
Not like the cut that he would have delivered had things not happened. I'm talking about this that I remember hearing one. They were like, it's going to be a 4 parts or 6 parts.
Exactly what it plays like.
Yeah, and that's those chapter headings.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into, but that you could have each of those because they kind of break it up into even sixths. That film because it's 4-hour movie.
Exactly.
Is even sixths?
Eighths.
Sixths. Fuck.
It goes in.
Sixths. And an epilogue.
Sixths.
They've got the weirdest names too. When we get into them, they're just it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
But it's fun. It's good fun. This is the other one that I thought was really weird. The petition to release the Snyder Cut. I mean, everybody's heard that. It only got 180,000 signatures.
Yep.
But I think the online buzz is kind of more what did the work.
I mean, anytime anytime some of these people are under pressure.
Had to.
they run an equation about what it represents. They don't get it right all the time, but they run an equation like if someone took the time to sign a petition, that means 10 people feel the same way.
Oh, okay.
If someone take the time to write an email, a personalized one, not a copy pasta one, that means
a copy pasta.
I'm so internet. That means like 50 people. But if someone took the time to handwrite a letter or whatever, that's
sorry,
1,000
copy
people.
pasta's got me. Yeah. So 1,000 people. Yeah, I understand.
So, but a petition would mean like 10 people.
Yeah.
So that's 1 million. So you're not. I'm too internet.
No, you're too internet.
Yeah, that's an internet term.
Copy pasta.
Copy pasta.
Oh, I thought you just fucked up, and it was like a slip of the tongue.
No, that's a thing.
Copy pasta.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm going to open a restaurant called
#, copy pasta. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
Nice.
And I'm also going to open a restaurant one day where it is completely sociably acceptable to tongue your plate afterwards, and we'll call it "Give Us a Lick."
Eee, I like it. Getting licks.
We're going to business.
Right
We're getting licks. Make sure to lick and subscribe.
Yeah.
Lick and subscribe. My God. It also back to the fucking film. It currently holds a 73% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes compared to the 40% of the 2017 theatrical version.
Critics or audience?
Audience.
That's
which makes
only
perfect
stat that
sense.
counts.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Now, we were talking about shot for IMAX. So the film is on HBO Max or binge or whatever. It's broadcast in 4:3, so 1:3:3 to 1, which is close to the 1:3:7 to 1 like traditional Academy ratio that they used in what was it, the 1960s.
Right.
Now, that's as opposed to, and we're going to do a little bit example here, as opposed to the 2:3:5 anamorphic. You can see the bars here. And then there's the 4:3, which is bars either side of us that you will see right here. Mm-hmm. And then there's the 16:9 that we all know, full screen 1:7:7 to 1.
Which you're watching right now.
Which you're watching right this second. And there's also, my particular favourite though, is the 2:3:5 to Hugo ratio.
It's 3.14.
666. Hugo Morphic. That's brilliant. I'm using that shit. You made my joke better. That's why you get this kind of talent.
Yeah, so then I just as an aesthetic choice, I thought it was interesting because it reminded me of watching the A-Team or something on telly back when I was a kid.
Insert A-Team thing.
Way before the concept of widescreen was around. And it gave me that feeling, and I thought, oh, that's really interesting aesthetic choice. It's reminding me of watching old TV shows that I enjoyed, a more innocent time kind of thing.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, the idea that it was for IMAX, and that this movie, because once you go, oh, this movie's never going to get played in theaters, then you go, oh, okay, let's do it in the widescreen form.
Let's do it 1:7:7,
the way that we normally do it then. But then to go, no. It's not only is it never going to be played in any theater, it's definitely not going to be played in any IMAX theater, and it's only going to be played on people's laptop screens, all of which are 16:9.
Mm.
And I'm sticking to this choice because at one point I thought I might play it on IMAX theater in one point. None of that makes sense to me.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a decisive reason to make that choice. Particularly, I mean, so much so that they had to have a warning at the beginning of the film that says, this is the aspect ratio as originally wanted by the director. But
very weird.
I don't not like. I prefer 1:1 ratio, which is but what it is like the first numbers are indicative of how long it is compared to how tall it is.
Cool.
So say the frame that we're in now, the 16:9 or the 1:7:7, that means it's 1.77 times longer than it is high.
Oh, cool.
So I don't not like the 4:3. I do like 1:1, which is really square. You can do really interesting things with that, especially with like horror movies and claustrophobia and shit. But I don't understand this choice, especially when it's going on a streaming service where you can't explain that to people.
No.
And also don't understand. Last night I've watched this 3 times.
It's fucking crazy.
No, it's not fucking crazy. It's great. You get a whole bunch of snacks.
Yeah.
My sister-in-law, we watched it together because I watched it with my fiance, and then she thought it was hilarious. She's like laughing out loud at how fucking earnest it is. Like it's just so serious, so self-serious.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, her sister wanted to watch it as well, so we watched it together. And she made chocolate hummus. Do yourselves a favour. Pretzel, amazing.
Snyder dip.
The Snyder dipped. It was really good. And then last night I watched it in preparation for this because I'm all about preparation. See, I've got a clipboard and everything.
Yeah, right.
And I watched the Justice is Grey. Justice is Grey.
Justice is
where
Grey.
they've, you know how when they released Mad Max Fury Road,
Chrome,
it was black and white. That works because you can remove the color from that film and it's still, you know, has a lot going on. And they did the same with Logan. And it was supposed to have an alternate ending, which it fucking didn't. It did not have an alternate ending at all.
No.
And so, I don't know why they were banging on about that. But anyway. No, it doesn't add anything being in black and white. Like, if anything, it takes stuff away because it's superheroes in bright costumes. Like, I don't understand what the aesthetic choice
and also
for that
it's already fairly grey. Like, his aesthetic is that muted business. It's got colour, but it's very, very muted. That's Zack Snyder. That's one of the reasons why you know it's his stuff.
Yeah.
So that's a choice. But then to remove any colour at all, it seems very pseudo. It's not. I don't buy it. Again, I don't buy it.
Yeah.
I think it's just, maybe we can rinse out a few more streams out of this.
That it is funny because I said my fiance got home last night and she was like, "What, are you watching it in black and white?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Yeah, it's they re-released it in black and white." And from the bedroom I just said, "Oh, for fuck's sake!"
Yeah.
Like, she was like, "Why? If people are going to watch it, they're going to watch it."
What decisions could he have been making scene to scene about the quality of the black and white that would make this
Hey, look,
make
man,
sense?
I spent it was like last year and a bit of the year before making film clips with a musician, and we did like 3 in a row that were black and white. And I know, like a motherfucker, how you have to grade every clip.
Right.
You don't throw a LUT or like a broad spectrum, desaturation on things.
Okay.
You have to go in and individually grade lightness and darkness, and it just. And because he shoots film, the grain looks really good. Like, it looks really nice.
Okay. All right.
But it just, it didn't add anything.
Okay.
That was.
But you think it was a careful job, like, so he'd done it with care.
I think someone's had to. Now, recently they come out on the internet. If I can find it, I'll put it in here. There's a shot of an actor standing in front of a green screen, giving it one of these. Right? And it's come out that was actually supposed to be a credits sequence. You know, the way that people do nowadays, like the Marvel started with the post-credit sequence. Okay. Post-credit sequence introducing a new Green Lantern.
Ooh.
And it was Snyder, he threatened to quit, actually, because he wanted it to be John Stewart, who's the African-American Green Lantern who became super popular because of the Justice League cartoon series.
I thought you meant the host of The Daily Show.
Johnson.
I was like, interesting choice.
Yeah, he's it's weird for Green Lantern. Is he much of a? Does he work out? Does he work out? That's my question. No idea.
The power of imagination.
Yeah, exactly. Or power of fucking CG. If that other Green Lantern movie's got anything to do with it, for crying out. I mean, I know Ryan Reynolds is in good shape, but that suit was not. They had this and they wanted to do it, but Warner Brothers is like, no. We have plans for that character, so you can have Martian Manhunter.
Oh, crikey.
Metal! We'll talk about Martian Manhunter, or as I like to call him, Martha Manhunter.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
Good.
I'm here a week.
Man, that actually makes it make sense.
As soon as Martian Manhunter came into the film, I threw my hands up, and then they used Harry Lennox. I'm like, Harry fucking Lennox? Are you kidding me? Yes.
I don't know who that is.
He's the actor who plays Martian Manhunter, but he was in Superman. He was in Man of Steel and BVS as the general guy.
Ah, okay.
It's the same actor. So it means he's been in it the whole time.
Yes, right.
Does it actually?
If this guy can, okay. Well, anyway, we'll get there, I guess. But if this guy can become anyone, was he that guy all the time?
Maybe not.
And if he was,
where's the real version of that guy?
Yeah,
Is he dead?
What's he doing while all this other crap is happening?
Fucking nothing, apparently.
Nothing. Apparently not.
Sitting on his hands watching Superman die. Yeah. What a prick. What a green prick.
So I'd wager that he wasn't that guy. He can just pretend to be different people. And
maybe he's different. Maybe he's Alfred at one point. Never know.
Dun, dun, dun.
We're not breaking any news.
Martian house cleaner.
That sounds like a really super advanced. What was that fucking thing you used before?
Dustbuster. Martian Dustbuster.
Martian Dustbuster. I love it. Well, I mean, according to Men in Black 1, that we got all sorts of stuff from aliens.
Yeah,
we got
I believe it.
microwaves and CDs.
Believe it. Believe it.
There's that great scene where they walk into the little thing and, he's like, Tommy Lee Jones is showing Will Smith all the different inventions they've got from Martians. And he's like...
That's a fascinating little gadget. It's going to replace CDs soon, so I'll have to buy the White Album again.
I love that film. I don't know who wrote this, but possibly the most shocking revelation from the storyboard. It's like, get fucked. It's not that shocking. It's not like you've just found out that, you're adopted. So
what do you know?
Nothing. My tea. Batman was supposed to, because we're going to do it in 3 parts. Because obviously Snyder handed in this work print, which was 3.5 hours or whatever. It would have been broken down into sections. Batman was supposed to die because they'd already established that he was, towards the end of his career anyway. But the most shocking part is that there was a planned relationship between Bruce and Lois Lane. So much so that she's in the film, like they excised the storyline, but she's supposed to be pregnant with Bruce Wayne's kid, who then would have taken over as Batman in Justice League Part 3, as a sort of a Batman Beyond kind of situation, which is, I guess they would do a time jump into the, what is the epilogue,
oh my God,
into that future dystopian shit, and instead of Bruce, it would have been Damian Wayne, who was his son in the books.
I don't hate that idea.
I think it's a really cool idea.
And then, we don't see Batman in relationships, so, he kind of get into one, it's kind of wrong for him to get into it with this particular woman, but she's one of the only humans who can have any kind of comprehension of his life kind of thing.
Knows who he is already.
Basically knows who he is.
Doesn't have to, reveal that.
And so I like it, I don't dislike that idea.
And they would be joined in their collective grief because she's mourning the loss of Cal, and so is Batman. One of the biggest, one of the problems that I have with both versions of the film is that I don't know what anybody's wants.
Yeah.
There's you need 2 very specific things for a character to move forward. They need to want something, and they need to need something. So, for instance, let's take Marty McFly. In Back to the Future, Marty wants
his mother.
No.
Oh, sorry, his mother wants him. Sorry. I got to watch it again.
Yeah,
I get confused.
Not too far off.
He doesn't want his mother.
He doesn't want his mother.
His mother wants him.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful story about
tale as old as time.
Men and women and mums. In Back to the Future, Marty wants to be a rock star. He wants to be a rock star. And it's, it's set up at the beginning. He gets up in front of Huey Lewis in the news and they're like, you're just too loud, that kind of thing.
Is that who that is?
That's Huey Lewis, yeah.
Oh my God. Who's done that song that he's just been singing?
That's right.
The biology one?
Yep.
Oh, I never knew that one.
Yeah, man. He's sitting in it's like one of the 3 judges.
Oh my God, I never knew that.
Oh yeah, he gets the megaphone out. But the thing that Marty needs in that film is to make sure his parents get back together. Yeah. And then at the end of the film, not only does that happen, but he gets to play Johnny B. Good.
Yeah.
So both his needs and wants are fulfilled. I don't know what people's needs and wants are in this, except Batman. Batman wants to stop the apocalypse, basically, but he needs to redeem himself for, basically causing the death of Superman. Like, if they had been on the same team at the same time the whole film, it wouldn't have gone that way. So that I get, but everybody else is kind of all over the place. But that would have definitely joined him and Lois together, and they would have done some sweet bone and some sexy tub humping like in that second film.
Maybe, but how's he going to stack up against the Kryptonian in that department? Yeah,
really? I don't know, man.
Against an alien powered by proximity to Earth's
sun well,
in the bedroom.
If anything, Superman's just going to be quick.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Batman has studied every martial arts on the planet. He's going to have fingering techniques no one's ever even heard of before.
Oh, jeez.
Woohoo! That might be just for us. It's a good joke, though.
It's about pleasure. It's not. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't gratuitous. It was
It's a little adult, but it wasn't.
There's a disclaimer at the beginning of this that says,
adults only.
Yeah,
juvenile
viewer
adults
discretion.
only.
Yeah, exactly. And we are those. So we're going to start with part 1. which was called Don't Count on It, Batman, but we've called it something else. It starts sort of with Superman screaming across time.
Yeah.
And he awakens the mother boxes. And hey, every time you hear the words mother box or unity, take a drink, you'll end up in fucking casualty.
Oh my God.
It's excessive.
It's excessive, and it's the worst name for anything ever.
You don't like it?
No, mother box.
Mother box?
I mean, what? It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
No.
And so...
More than Infinity Stones.
Infinity Stones, it does roll off the
You kind of know what it is immediately too.
Right,
like,
true.
Oh, okay, it's a
But
rock
mother
of some
box.
sort.
And the actual thing of what the mother boxes are and do is really confusing.
Mm.
Whereas the Infinity Stones, I don't want to fucking just praise Marvel up the wazoo, but it seems like in this regard at least, those stones are really weird. They're really, really weird. Each one of them has a very, very different thing, but they commit to it.
Yeah.
They go, this one does this one does this, and it's very, very confusing. I remember when they were first mentioned, and I was like, okay, you need 5 of them. Cool, he just needs 5. It's like, no. They all do different things.
Shit,
it's like, oh my God, and some of them control reality, and one of them controls time. It's like, oh my God.
And you can see them being used for those specific tasks as well.
Precisely. The mother boxes, my God. The question that I have is, it must be Superman's, specifically his death scream, right?
Yeah.
Because he let out quite an almighty roar.
It is a rattle.
When he broke Zod's neck.
He did, yeah.
Yeah, so that didn't awaken the mother boxes. That wasn't heard around the world.
Well, I think the idea, and they talk about it later in the film, or Batman talks about it when they're all in the Batcave having tea, which is my fucking favourite scene in the whole film, is where everybody's out. I mean, it's later on, but I'm going to talk about it now. Where everybody else is out doing missions and shit, and Wonder Woman's at the Batcave with Alfred. She gets up to make some tea, and he like passive aggressively makes it over her shoulder. He's like, no, you've got to let it steep and don't scald the tea. That is my favourite bit. Jeremy Irons is a fucking treasure, and the fact that we get more of him in this film just makes me lament for the fact that we didn't get that Affleck Batman film, because he would have been amazing.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's definitely a highlight.
Yeah. And he's real surly and just kind of...
He's good. He's actually easily one of the best Alfreds.
Got some strange music choices throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Nick Cave?
Yeah, Nick Cave.
A lot of Nick Cave?
Yeah.
But the score itself is better. The Danny Elfman score from the original, like the 2017 release, is not particularly good. Apart from the fact that he did pepper in the themes from Superman and Batman. That was quite a good idea.
Yeah.
But this new score, I think it was Junkie XL, it's got a bit more... I mean, it's really operatic and over the top, but I mean, so is Hans Zimmer every time he does anything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I kind of dug that about it. We get more of Cyborg immediately. He kind of bookends the film in a way. He's the character you see when the title comes up, and he's also, close to one of the final characters you see at the end.
Yeah.
I think they want to make it his journey, but it's really not, because he's missing for about, an hour and a half in the middle there.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, when you view it as a movie, there's too much that he's bookending. But if it was viewed as a lengthy miniseries, where you'd kind of be surprised, the final, penultimate episode, he comes back and there's a resolution to his arc. That's satisfying.
That's so true.
But when you're watching it as
pieces,
it
would have the arc would read better.
A little bit.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because I'm kind of the opinion that it works better as a miniseries.
Oh yeah, I think so. And
not even because of the time. Like, I don't mind sitting there. It moves at quite a clip. Like, when you're watching it, it doesn't slow down in any place. It doesn't get bogged down in many places.
I'm glad you changed your choice of words there.
Why?
Because it does slow down.
Oh my God! If you took out every single, not every single, if you took out half the instances in which Zack Snyder uses like above or at like 120 frames a minute, 120 frames a second rather, the movie would be 45 minutes long. Like, and I can't figure out, the other thing is, I can't figure out the geometry or the science behind the slow motion used when Flash is moving.
Yeah.
Because it's already going on so much.
That's right.
Like, how does the math work? Like, if he's slowing... If things are going that speed normally, and then he slows down even more, surely nothing should move. You know what I mean? Like, it should
Because he's
just
going
be
the speed
him
of
in
light.
space, the same way they did Quicksilver in that X-Men
Right,
picture.
Right. So he's going very, very fast, but not fast enough to stop time.
Yeah.
Until he does.
Until the end, yeah.
Until he does a couple of times. He does it for the mother box, and then he does it.
Well, yeah, it's an interesting kind of, we can talk about here, the bringing back the Superman section where they've charged the mother box to bring him back to life. And Barry does go, he says, weird stuff happens when I go at the speed of light. You know, time does weird stuff. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting Chekhov's gun at what is almost the beginning of the third act. Like a Chekhov's gun you normally have, in the first act.
So what's that? If there's a gun in the scene, it has to be used?
Yeah, if you see...
Like
Chekhov's gun theory is if you see a pistol in the first act, it has to go off in the third act. And it can be anything. And the other thing about the flasher speed, just while we're on it, is the lightning strikes and the distortion of the environment is a good idea on paper.
Yeah.
But it almost seems like they're using it to hide flaws in their ability to translate his powers onto screen. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And also, it makes a mockery of the fact that he would be kind of like undetectable. I'm a big fan of some DC properties, but in particular the Vertigo lines, which I know we both love.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff I'm fairly nerdy about. But actual DC mainstream stuff, I'm not that familiar with at all. And I know that the Flash, he's like a genius scientist and stuff like that. But I mean, in terms of the rest of it, is that one of his powers? Is that he's so fast he's undetectable? Or is it supposed to be this like lightning flash that everyone can see and their hats get blown off and all kinds of stuff happens and they'll be like, what was that? Or which one is it?
For my money, it's, even going back to the 90s TV series, when he moves that fast, he affects the environment around him. It doesn't. People don't get struck by lightning. Yeah. Things blow past them or whatever. And,
so he's
in
not
the
stealthy,
TV series, not really. But he can also do things at a clip where people can't. They don't know it's him.
Okay.
They're just oh, that was weird that just happened, and he's still standing there like, yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? He does that during that scene where the weird. We'll get to it, the weird scene where he saves Iris, but there's some strange shit going on there. Yeah. But and the other thing he can do as well is phase his body out of phase the molecules so that they become intangible.
Wow.
So
someone can shoot a bullet or whatever,
and it just goes straight through him.
Wow.
Yeah. So
dodges the molecules.
Yeah, exactly. So no, I don't think it's like he's like a ninja at the same time as being whatever he is.
Fair enough.
So, now I don't know.
And also, I have a question. We'll, I'm sure we'll get into the Flash, but who's that actor? Ezra? What's?
Oh, fucking
Ezra something. Right?
Ezra Miller.
Okay, Ezra Miller. Do you think before this role, Ezra Miller had ever run before? Or ever watched a human run?
So he's just kind of like a skater or something. A lot of arm work. This one, like he's throwing discus. It's the first time I've said discus since high school.
Hey.
That's
nostalgia.
You kind of took one of my jokes.
Had anyone on set ever seen anyone run?
Yeah. Zach's like, can you throw your body forward like you've just been pushed out of your front door by your parents? It's particularly weird, and I think the speed thing's hard to do. Like you see it in the beginning with the Wonder Woman, stopping those terrorist guys.
Oh god, yes.
The bracelet business, and the fucking fart rock, that thing, all that stuff, and stop it, and it just
XL.
Yeah,
it's got his bloody fingerprints all over it.
It really horrible, does. Yeah,
horrible music.
It doesn't look. You're not a fan. I remember we talked about it last time.
I don't like him in. Yeah, we talked about it. Oh, we talked about it in the very last episode.
Yeah, that you was shot just as recently as this one. And
one of the things that didn't ruin it. But
and Hugo doesn't have another child now.
Things move fast. What can I say?
I've been losing weight. He's been breeding. It's amazing. It's that speed thing. I don't think they found a way to make it work. And Ezra Miller but
the Quicksilver one from X-Men worked brilliantly.
Well, because you just saw him as he's moving and the entire environment just stays still.
No, but I mean, he looked like he was running.
Oh yeah, and they
he looked like a human running.
Put him on a camera, put him on a track, and put a camera in front of him, and he ran. Yeah,
like it didn't look. Nothing about the Quicksilver one drew you out of the scene and go, oh, that human doesn't know how to run.
Yeah, that's how no one's ever run like that in their life, unless they were on one of those escalators that just goes along the floor at an airport, and they were running on that. That would make you run like that.
Yes,
because you'd be completely out of sync with your own body and the thing.
Yes, it's very funny. Very, very funny. It's bonkers. It's bonkers.
Strange way to represent the character.
But here's an interesting point. So we've dived into Flash a bit early.
That's all right. No, there's no. I mean, I was just going basing it on the parts so that we could hit every beat. But we're going to jump all over the place, so it's fine.
Well, but the Wonder Woman scene does happen in this section, right?
It does. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and that's a really, really important point. Is two things you've mentioned so far is because there's so much slow motion in the movie, the Flash scenes don't have as much effect as they ought to. It ought to be like a pretty trippy experience to suddenly be dropped into slow motion whenever Flash does his thing.
Yeah.
And by the same token, he should be the only one who gets to do that.
Yeah.
To make him special cinematographically and thematically, and he's got a special power. They call them special powers because the others shouldn't have them. And I don't know the property that well. I don't know Wonder Woman. Is she very fast?
Apparently, that's the case.
In the comics?
I don't know. I'm not huge on reading. There's a few that I've read that I enjoy, but I don't recall super speed. It makes sense that Superman does. There is the cool scene where they kind of fight at super speed.
So the exception to the rule is Superman.
Yeah.
Like the point is that thematically, they've got this Justice League team who each have incredible individual powers. And then Superman's got all the powers and more.
Yeah.
And that's the problem slash greatest quality of Superman in the team, is that he can dominate all of them / he can cover all their bases, and more.
And it also kind of makes sense as to why he doesn't appear in the film until 2 hours and 33 minutes in.
Right. Because
he would just sort everything, as he does as soon as he turns up at the end of the third act to stop Steppenwolf.
Yeah,
game's over, baby.
Yeah,
he is owning it.
Yeah.
You have him through the rest of the film. He solves all their problems too quickly.
Precisely. But point being is that I think for me one of the themes about watching this movie is just that the bleed over between the characters, where they just become this uniformly powerful superhero and sharing very much of the same, not only powers but also aesthetic of how you portray those powers. So they just become 5 or 6 of the same person, where I think, and this is critical for me, I think that that's a colossal failure of imagination, because in fact the way those characters are written, and I don't know how canon it is, but just based on the movie, those 6 characters are given really, really distinctive powers that then aren't used. Basically, they just use a couple of them that kind of they all get to use. They're all very good at punching, and they're all fast and strong.
They're great at punches.
Yeah,
they're the best punchers out of all the punches. They're the best ones.
So every time there's a punch in the movie, to be honest with you, every time one of these characters punches another baddie, I feel like it was a failure of imagination.
Yeah.
And we'll get into it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my main theme when I was watching
it. Lack of imagination. It's almost verbatim what you said about both when we did the BVS episodes and about Man of Steel. As beautifully captured they are in terms of their cinematography, Zack Snyder's films. He's obviously works with a great DP and he's a great visual stylist and all that stuff. And this film in particular looks amazing. There is a fundamental disconnect from the material.
Yeah.
That you can't deny, no matter how much you like the film. I like the picture. It's I had a good time with it, but
that's another thing to emphasize is I've talked a lot of smack about Zack Snyder. And I have to say, as soon as I was watching this, and for the duration I was watching, I watched it in lots and lots of little pieces.
Yeah, I thought that you might. Yeah.
I was really happy to be back in Zack Snyder land.
Oh, really?
And I didn't expect myself to be. And I realized I'd
Zack
missed
Snyder
it.
Land opening it. Warner Brothers Movie World next year. It's always raining.
Oh my god! It's
Take
so
a
good.
coat.
Yeah. Don't take. You're not allowed to wear any colored clothing.
Nah.
I realized I'd missed him, and I think I really appreciate his presence in the cinema world for a number of reasons, which we will.
And by all reports, like, I mean, obviously it's come out. You know, these people, these aren't cheap people. You know, this is. I mean, I don't think Cavill and Godot didn't come back to do any reshoots, but everybody else did. Affleck, the Fish Woman.
Not Amber Heard.
Amber Heard came back.
Oh, why are we mentioning that name?
We will talk about her shortly. She's not a good actress. Ezra came back. We got Joe Manganiello. Leto came back. They're not cheap people. They came back for Zack, and it's because by all reports he's a really awesome dude.
I really feel like he'd been humbled, and he himself had gone through a bit of an arc, a bit like what Batman has gone through. Like,
he definitely understands Batman as a character, the best out of all of them. He's the one who gets the most growth. I think Batman's the one who actually, and that's also a testament to how good Affleck is. Like,
right on.
Like in this scene, like, you know, his introduction scene, you know, about to go down to see Aquaman, the Aguaman, as Dennis Hopper says in Entourage, standing on top of that icy mountain.
Yeah.
Affleck Batman on a horse with a beard. I'm fucking here for it. That is some dope shit. And then he comes down and we get Momoa, introduction to Momoa, who I think is fantastic. That Aquaman movie is probably the second best DCU film after Birds of Prey, which is fucking baller. That movie is the best shit. Have you seen Birds of Prey?
No.
Oh, man.
You being sarcastic?
No. Do yourself a favor. It is awesome. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's the perfect amount of all of the things that it's trying to do.
Wait a second. What about Joker and?
No, I'm talking about the DCU films, the ones that began with Man of Steel.
Okay, there's a distinction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
they're all
timeline,
that's outside.
So things that are outside. So Joker, because Joker's not Jared Leto, it's not considered DCU.
Think of Joker as an Elseworlds story, like it's outside of the main continuity of these films. The continuity of these films is like Man of Steel, BVS, Suicide Squad, Shazam, Aquaman, Birds of Prey, the Harley Quinn film, which is really great. So I'd say Aquaman's probably the second best one, only because it's super fun.
So Birds of Prey is #1 DCEU film?
I think so.
Wow.
I really enjoy that film. I've seen it probably half a dozen times.
Bonkers. All right, well, I'll check it out.
It's just fun, and it's visually really interesting, and it's really well written. It's like a girl power thing without being a girl power thing. You know what I mean? Like it just lives. These are the characters. It's not putting a hat on anything.
Okay. And
Margot Robbie's great. There's some awesome sequences. The soundtrack's dope. Like, it's just really, really great. And Aquaman's great because it's super fun. It's really silly. It's kind of big and dumb. There's two things in Aquaman that I need to just broach.
Okay.
That I think are ridiculous. 3. One of them's Amber Heard, and the end. Like, she's the ridiculous thing. And only not because of, like, whatever it is about her in the media, I don't care. She's
Amber
just not...
should not be seen or heard.
She should not be seen or heard, only because, for no other reason, that she is not a good actress.
She's bad.
She can't act.
Yeah, she's bad.
And that's fine. You know, not everybody can. So, and the two actual things about it, though, are... one is... there is an extended scene, and it's the same in the Justice League movies. He's never near water.
Right.
You know, in these films. There's like 1 or 2 scenes where he's underwater, and then he stops the water when it comes through that big channel.
Okay.
And then the entire third act of the film, there's not an ounce of water near him.
Precisely.
So he can't use any of his powers.
So what's his power related to water?
Like, you know, controlling it, swimming through it, talking to fish.
Okay, yeah.
Talking to sharks.
But can he make bodies of water do stuff?
I don't know, because he's never near one.
But not even in the other movies? Or do you ever read any Aquaman comics?
Not really, no. Like, I mean, maybe.
Okay.
I know that Mira is. She controls it.
Okay, but he's part of the same race, right? I mean, surely he should be able to. So let's say, for the sake of argument, that it doesn't matter whether he can do it canonically in the DC comics. You call him Aquaman. Isn't that a logical power to give him?
Yeah.
In your movie?
Yeah.
Isn't there water everywhere? Like,
people's bodies?
Right. Can't you do some interesting shit with that?
Yeah.
So there's a prime example.
Of your lack of imagination.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Aquaman in this movie can swim fast, and he can punch, and that's it.
And there's no purpose for him to swim past because there's no water anywhere.
Precisely, but there could have been.
Yeah.
There's no reason for there not to be. The final location is somewhere near Chernobyl or something like that. Is that
it's pseudo Chernobyl. Yeah.
Pseudo Chernobyl. Okay, so some kind of nuclear irradiated wasteland, which is really interesting. I thought, but you know, there's no need for, like, one of the things could have been leading up to that point is like, you know, Aquaman, you sure you should come with us? You know, there's going to be no water there.
Is this you doing Batman?
No, I was doing The Flash.
No, if you're doing The Flash, you could be like this.
Oh, sorry, I was doing Wonder Woman. Well, anyway, point being, like that could have been a really amazing payoff, and he kind of stands there with his trident, like, you know, Aquaman, are you sure you should come with us? There's no water. Your power is manipulating water. And Aquaman kind of goes, well, I'm not going to do it, Jason Momoa. Don't worry, cuz. I got it. I'm on it.
It's not a Kiwi at all.
No, you say something like,
his dad was.
Don't worry, I'm on it. Yeah. And then he comes in with, like, he's like drawing water vapor out of the ground and stuff. Yeah. And he's like, you know, making javelins with irradiated water and crap like that.
That's a brilliant idea.
Okay, so this is my point being, like, anytime he just punches someone.
Or throws a trident at them.
The trident, I'm almost okay with. At least it's nautical.
Yeah. No, I mean, like, that's what he does. He uses his trident.
He uses his trident. Yeah. But anytime he just punches someone and goes, woohoo! Or whatever, what he's doing.
A lot of whooping, yeah.
To me, that's just a colossal failure of imagination. Like what, you know, so he could have been drawing water out of the air, out of the ground. He also could have been manifesting tidal waves and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Couldn't he? Like, at some point, it seems like the battle's lost, but they're nearby the coast for some reason, like the Caspian Sea or something.
Why can't they be somewhere like that? Yeah.
Precisely. And they're like, oh my God, and it seems like all is lost, and there's a plane of enemy coming up the shore or whatever, and suddenly the water, like, drains away, and they're like, what's going on? And he's like, I got you, cuz. And then he comes surfing in on a tidal wave that he's manifesting.
On a tidal wave, on a fucking shark or something dope like that, or two fish.
Sharknado, cuz.
Sharknado. Yeah. Perfect.
Okay.
Tortoises. Giant tortoise.
So the lack of that sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's the kind of thing that I'm going to be pointing out time and time again during this review.
Oh, please, yeah.
Where was the water-related powers?
Well, the whole third act of the Aquaman film is him discovering his powers and calling forth just a plethora of sea creatures to fight against Orm and stuff. Sweet. And it's batshit crazy, but it works. But back to the Aquaman film, the two things.
Damn it! Imagine like a kraken, like giant squid, just taking out parademons.
You've got to see the film.
Yeah,
exactly. Or a huge crab or something.
Huge crab. This would be fun.
It'd be wicked.
Yeah,
it'd be fun. It'd be big fun.
Right, but
and
he's just punching.
Well, that's what you get in the Aquaman film. Big fun. And
I'll watch it then.
It's well worth your time. There's just a couple of things that are strange. Like one of them, like you got to have them around water. There's an extended sequence in that film where they're in the desert. There's no water in the desert.
Well, which film?
Aquaman.
Oh yeah.
Right?
But that's fun. That's a contrast.
Big fun.
That's like what? Oh, sorry. You're saying that's a good thing.
No, I'm just saying it's weird.
Because no, but that is a good thing. That's a really good thing because isn't it part of writing? You know, you would remove them from their milieu.
I guess.
So where's the best place to put him as a challenge? I don't know what happens when they go to the desert, but
I can't
where's the best place to put him to bring him out of his element? Literally, the desert.
All right. Well, maybe you've turned me around on that one. Turn me around on this one. There's a scene where I think he gets knocked out or he gets the shit kicked out of him by someone. And Amber Heard's character, Fishwoman, or Mira or whatever it is.
She is fishy.
She's a fishy woman. She grabs him and then like cuts and he wakes up on a boat and they're both on a boat going to the Mariana Trench.
Okay. Yeah.
The Atlanteans, what do they need a boat? Wait for him to wake up and then both of you swim.
No, or just be life. I mean, you know, he's presumably he can breathe underwater, so drowning's not an issue.
Yeah.
So you do the equivalent of lifeguarding. So she's super strong as well, I think. You just drag him in
along
the water. Even if you're going half speed, the way they go through the water, these
it would have got there in half the time. They're on some rickety ass boat. I'm like,
Precisely.
What the fuck is going?
Precisely.
Crazy. Yeah. So we got Momoa, and this sort of propels forward. He's, Batman trying to get his team together as they're walking out, and Aquaman's storming away from him, about to go in the ocean. I messaged you last night about it. Aquaman calls Gotham a shithole. I loved it. So good. He jumps in and
he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Like, canonically, Gotham is a complete shithole.
Oh man, it is a toilet.
No thanks to Batman.
It is. And then Björk drops in for a bit of a sing and a sniff. The old sing and sniff.
It's an odd scene. It's
one of those things where it just takes itself so seriously. Like, what are they doing?
What are they doing?
Yeah,
why is it taking so long?
Yeah.
I think that the only thing I can think of for that is not Björk. I think that Zack Snyder must really love like Sigur Rós. Maybe he loves
Sigur Rós.
Maybe he loves Björk as well.
Yeah.
But basically he's like, dude, they're in Iceland, man. The music there is so crazy, dude. We gotta have some Icelandic folk music, man. This scene won't be complete without it.
Why does Zack Snyder in your head sound like Pauly Shore?
Doesn't Zack Snyder sound a bit like that?
He's whizzing the do-bag.
Do Zack Snyder.
I can't do Zack Snyder. I don't know. I don't have a Zack Snyder in my bag. Why don't I have a Zack Snyder in my bag? That's ridiculous.
Dude, he's like this. I think he talks like that.
So cool.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So, yeah, it's really odd. Like, there's no explanation for it. Just like, maybe they visited Iceland. I'm assuming it was actually shot there, in Greenland or somewhere.
Yeah.
It's pretty authentic.
I mean, it looked, particularly when he's up there on the horse.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
That's pretty legit.
But it looked like a real place.
Yeah.
And maybe like they were in there and they were in some pub like the night before shooting and there was some folk singing going on. He's like, dude, that's got to be in my movie, dude. I'm going to take 5 minutes out and have it.
You don't think that was part of the reshoots? The Björk reshoots?
I think it could have been part of the reshoots, but I don't think it was necessarily scripted. It's so weird.
Yeah.
That I think it was just
comes out of fucking nowhere.
It's a fucking nowhere.
And she comes up and sniffs his jumper?
Yeah, it's like, dude, what? But he basically lives there. What? He comes back enough. He comes back often enough that they know him and they protect him.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, he's obviously some sort of deity, but it's not explained in any way.
They're ridiculous. I mean, let's be honest with you. Those chicks are horny for him.
And if you flip the gender on that and someone sniffs Wonder Woman's corset as she dives into the water, very different movie. Very different film. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very, very odd. Very, very odd and a waste of time. I'm just going to say.
It is. It adds to that runtime.
That should have been
those
cut.
Little things. Lots of stuff do.
Like so much that could have been done for like based on what I just said before. Like let's see Aquaman. Let's see Aquaman at this moment. What did you call it? Chekhov's gun. Let's see him Chekhov's gun some water powers.
Yeah.
Like maybe
something that needs to end up saving the day.
Precisely. Like why when they end up in a bar fight with Batman ending up in a bar fight with him, is it just Aquaman strong?
And holds him against the wall.
Holds him against the wall and likes money.
Yeah.
Like why doesn't, for example, he make all the bottles of booze fly out as spikes and Batman have to like batarang them or something like that?
I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
So it's just like,
I don't know what his, as I said, I don't know what his powers of water manipulation.
I almost don't care at this point. It's just like, you're making a movie.
Yeah, you can do it.
In the comics, he's some kind of like some kind of Hitler Youth looking kid. He's blonde and blue eyed. And now he's Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the greatest recastings.
Delicious.
I mean, Jason Momoa is a specimen.
Oh, mate.
And it's awesome making him that. And so you're changing the canon anyway. He's called Aquaman. Make him be able to control water. And then, I mean, what could he do with snow? Like, what? There's snow all around. What could he do with snow?
Put it up his nose, probably. Who likes to ski? Momoa likes to ski. So it's just nice. Cocaine joke. Enjoy that, ladies and gentlemen at home. If he's got water powers and he's in snow, he could cause an avalanche.
Cool, exactly. You know? So you got this bar scene. There's bottles on the wall. There's snow all around. Batman, in his Bruce Wayne horse guise, has come in. He doesn't want to be found.
Bruce Wayne horse guys.
A horse rider.
That's the toy that you get. Bruce Wayne horse guys. And he comes with a horse. Yeah. And a beard that you can take on and off.
Right on.
Amazing.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
It's taken him a long time to get there. His beard grew. And then he shaves it immediately. So then Aquaman is strong. That's basically the thing.
That's his whole power.
Such a failure of the imagination.
Yeah.
So they could have this stand down where he's like, he reveals his identity. He grabs Batman. Batman maybe brings out looks like he's bringing out a weapon or something. And Momoa uses the liquid around to like disable him. And he's like, I knew it was you.
Yeah. And he's like, you're the Aquaman.
Yeah,
well, how do you know? Because he can lift you up. Like, he might just be big. He is Jason Momoa. He's big anyway.
Yes, he's big looking. Yeah, exactly. And so here's the other thing. So they've recast him marvelously, I think. Jason Momoa, I'm just a humongous fan of.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
What the fuck is Jason Momoa doing hanging out in Iceland? Like, you've recast him as this Hawaiian dude.
Mm.
Recast the whole thing. Make him a Hawaiian god.
Mm.
Like, make Batman. Imagine Batman fits in a snowy environment. Make Batman have to go to a sunny tropical environment.
Yeah.
And find Aquaman.
Yeah.
How dope would that be?
Fucking Ben Affleck as Batman in a Hawaiian shirt
still
with pineapples on it.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Hey, it's Bruce Wayne! It's Bruce Wayne! See? Nobody cares.
Who cares? Nedry joke, well done.
Dodson, we've got Dodson here! See, nobody cares.
So let's go through here a little bit. We've got the Nick Cave song as Lois goes to the memorial and gives Jimmy Olsen a coffee. Jimmy Olsen, Mark McClure plays the police officer. He was Jimmy Olsen in the Christopher Reeve films.
Fuck off!
Yeah.
That's a nice tidbit.
Then there's the raid on the museum, which is super violent, and I don't understand why. Wonder Woman in that scene, it's fucking batshit crazy, and I don't understand what the message is. She's there. The guy's, just clicked the gun over to fully automatic and just unloaded on these children, and she's stopping it with her bracelets, and then she slams them together, which I think is a really cool power, and blows half this building away and turns this motherfucker to mince.
Yeah.
Like, he is mince in the street.
Mm.
There's blood, and it should have been like something out of The Boys.
Yeah.
A liver, a lung falling on top, but no, you just see a hat falling. And then she turns around and says, let me just check and make sure I get this right. She turns around and says to the little girl, "You okay, princess?" I'm trying to do the accent, I can't do it.
Princess.
Yeah, and that's it.
Are you okay,
and
princess?
she's like, "Can I be like you when I grow up?" She's like, "You can be whatever you want to be."
Yeah.
I'm like, what a fucking murderer! Like, you
Yeah.
just
With
killed
superpowers.
these guys and turned a person into a liquid.
Yeah. Like, you can be whatever you want to be, but I have mythical powers granted to me by being the offspring of...
I'm 5,000 years old, for starters.
So you can't be me.
No.
You can't be anything approaching what I am.
You can try, but, you might be able to act better. So then we have the raid on the first Mother Box by Steppenwolf, redesigned. Looks pretty baller, comparatively to the other one.
Their costume.
It looks great. The wonderful Ciarán Hinds doing the voice. I love him. Steppenwolf is looking really good. And then, boom, we hit into part 2, The Age of Heroes, or as we like to call it... So in this section, we get a lot more Steppenwolf. And we also get a look at Darkseid, or an insight into Darkseid. Steppenwolf isn't a great character. It probably would have worked better if Darkseid was in it throughout, but I think the aim would be to have Darkseid be in the next one that they would have made. Now, in the original, I don't really remember what Steppenwolf's kind of ultimate goal was. He just kind of wanted to... Yeah. He kept talking to the Mother Boxes as if they were people. Just, yes, mother, that kind of thing. But in this one, it's all about pleasing Darkseid. He has betrayed Darkseid, and as Desard tells him in that rock telephone thing, is that you owe him 1,000 worlds. And he's like...
50,000.
50,000 worlds, is it? Yeah.
It's a ridiculous number.
Yeah, then he'll let you come home, and he's always like, Darkseid's coming here, I'm Darkseid. It's all about Darkseid. And it makes perfect sense because Darkseid's actually a really fucking baller character.
Is he?
Yeah, Grant Morrison writes him particularly well.
Okay.
He is not only a demigod, but a genocidal madman. Like, he is a supreme racist, and he believes that everybody should live under his thumb, and he is ultimately who should be the ruler of the universe.
Got it.
And the thing that's particularly scary about him is the anti-life equation, which we hear about a lot in this film, but they don't really expound on what it is. He's just like, I will bask in the glow of anti-life, and anti-life this and anti-life that. And the equations here, Darkseid attacked Earth before and left the anti-life equation there and didn't realize, and he took him all this time to find it again, and blah, blah, blah. The anti-life equation is a formula that is implanted into a consciousness of a group, so a consciousness of a society, that makes them willingly accept slavery. That's fucking scary. Like that's horrific and terrifying. That's why when you see it, like, you know, in the comics, you know, Grant Morrison writes, you know, these Justice League run and stuff. Darkseid's always, you know, all of the people around him are like, you know, for Darkseid, for Darkseid. These are people that he's enslaved using this particular formula. Great character.
So it's communism. Is that what he does? He comes up with communism.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, I mean, well, hey, look, someone had to do it. But I think that's, you know...
True communism has never been tried.
No,
except by Darkseid.
Except by Darkseid, and look, seems to be working out for him. So I think
but there is that part where someone's like, something about individuality, like something about the world. He's describing the world of Earth. I think Steppenwolf is at one point. I should have written it down. But he says something about, you know, they are infected with individuality or something like that.
Yeah.
You need to remove their individuality. Perfect.
That's exactly right.
Perfect definition of totalitarian communism.
Yeah, or a totalitarian anything. As far as Steppenwolf is concerned, he's kind of a B villain in this, but he's given great agency because he has he has an actual aim. It's the same as Thanos. Thanos believes in halving the universe to save the universe. It's about, you know, and there's obviously an ego thing going on there as well, and, you know, but he's not so much of a you can kind of understand his point of view, and you can absolutely understand the point of view of a military soldier who has, you know, gone AWOL and then wants to come back home, you know, which is sort of the way that I see him.
Yeah.
So we'll just run through a couple of interesting things in this this particular section. Affleck in the reshoot footage on the plane looks fucking amazing. The guy is svelte, but apparently Batman definitely comes from Boston now.
I don't remember.
He's chewing on that Boston accent.
Yeah.
I don't know why. He's from Boston's from. Then we have the introduction of Cyborg's father, Joe fucking Morton.
Yeah.
Always happy to see him. He's the kind of guy you see in a film, you're like, oh, Joe Morton. You know, like, pretty happy with that. Famously from I saw him the other night in Executive Decision.
Okay.
But probably most famously for Terminator 2.
Right. That is
yeah. Boom! Like that's the man.
I don't know how much longer I can hold this.
That's for sure why Zack Snyder cast him.
Oh, come on, yeah, that's why you cast him.
Stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I need a scientist. He's the most sciencey scientist guy I've ever seen in a movie. That's the guy.
That's the most scientific movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, precisely.
Most scientifically accurate.
Well, it has a cyborg in it.
It does.
Is that a cyborg? Is the Terminator a cyborg?
No.
Terminator is a...
It's a polymetric alloy, or whatever that fucking thing is that he says.
But, you know, they're reminiscent.
Yeah, they've got human parts and robot parts.
Right.
Amber Heard, we said, can't act and must be offending Hugo with the British accent that she didn't have in Aquaman.
Yeah, she's not that bad at that, but yeah, why all of a sudden? From what I don't know because I haven't seen Aquaman, but I've seen it said.
I'm assuming that it was shot first and then they kind of retconned the idea.
Maybe. But I have a question.
Yeah.
Why are Aquaman's eyes the only ones that are weird?
They're kind of like a weird, almost white colour.
They're white.
Yeah.
Why are his eyes like that and no one else's?
Yeah, well, I was just about to mention William Dafoe.
Yeah.
Who's awesome. And he's setting up Aquaman. This is like your brother's taking, you know, as a war on the surface world and take your mother's trident and stuff. Yeah, he's got none of that business going on. He's got some beautiful greasy locks, but none of the eye business. I don't know.
No. So what's the deal there?
What colour are Jason Momoa's eyes anyway?
Normally, just brown, I reckon.
Creamy delicious, probably.
Oh,
Caramel delicious.
Whatever is the optimal human colour of a specimen.
Whatever a person could look like that would make them the best person.
The best.
He looks like that.
Yeah.
Now we get the big exposition scene from Wonder Woman, which is delivered so perfectly by Gail.
Yeah.
And she's doing the voiceover of this...
A long time ago in history.
Yeah, a long time ago in Lord of the Rings is what it is. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, this is leaning hard into LOTR.
Yeah.
And it's a good-looking sequence. There's, you know, it sort of talks about how Darkseid came to Earth and was bested by, you know, the Amazons from Themyscira, by the Atlanteans, by the worlds of men. Zeus was there.
Bested pretty easily.
Yeah, they've whooped his fucking ass.
Yeah, that's not a very intimidating character.
Bit of Zeus, bit of axe, and they put him back on the plane or whatever.
I
but
didn't really feel like that set up a character that I was very intimidated by at all.
It's set up, but that scene set up better. My favourite character of the film, bar Harry Lennox's Martha Manhunter, the Monkey Lantern.
Oh, yeah.
The Green Lantern monkey?
Yeah.
That's the best, man!
Trailer fodder.
Oh, it's trailer fodder, but look, I was waiting for Tripitaka and Sandy to pop in as well.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
Jump on a cloud.
Good.
And that was the start of their pilgrimage.
There you go. Failure of imagination.
Yeah, and then so what exactly. To use the characters from Monkey Magic. I doubt it. Don't even know if HBO have the rights. He gets his hand cut off and you see the ring fly off and Darkseid's like, oh, I might have a bit of that, and it fucks off. I'm assuming that ring would then go and find... Oh, no, it couldn't then go and find Jon Stewart because he's born hundreds of years later. Never mind.
You can just wait around as yet another thing that should have been acting when all of these, terrifying events were happening.
Were going on, yeah.
And yet the ring was just somewhere buried.
Yeah. Doing nitty.
And speaking of burying, you're about to get to this point in the story. What does everyone do with the mother boxes? Two of the races do something with them.
Two of the racists? Did you say two of the racists?
Hey, man, they might be racist.
Hey, look.
Those fucking surface people.
Those surface homies.
They are racist.
Yeah, they are.
Surface people. Yeah, they're racist. And then the Themyscirans are racist as well.
Towards the Atlanteans. They talk about
They're
it.
all
Her
racist.
and they don't like each other.
I'm sticking to it then. Two of the racists do something with it that's like, we're concerned about this. We're going to have to build basically our whole society around protecting this.
Yeah.
So the Themyscirans put it in like a fort where they're just going to stand forever with arrows.
Arrows and shit.
Bonkers.
Weird.
But anyway, whatever. And then the Atlanteans put it in some kind of chamber that's guarded. What do the humans do?
Put it in the ground.
In a shallow grave.
About 3 feet into.
Less than 3 feet.
Yeah, just put a rock on top.
Yeah.
Just put a rock on top of it.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Is this an important thing?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's crucially important.
They made the same.
It mustn't ever fall into anyone else's hands. Where are you going to put it? I forgot. I don't remember.
It's exactly the scene from Lord of the Rings too, splitting up the rings. The prologue of Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
And the stupid humans did then too. It is our folly not to hide things in the correct place.
That's true.
So that's going to bring this episode to a close. Next episode we'll continue on with part 3. But for right now, thank you so much for joining us. And come back next week. We'll have a bit more of Zack Snyder's Justice League, me and Hugo.
See ya.